When my father, Mohamed Amin, came here, this plain behind me was completely full of people, tens of thousands of people that had basically come in the hope of getting some sort of food and to escape the massive famine and drought that was throughout this part of Ethiopia. He had seen a lot of death and destruction and war and famine and genocide covering Africa for 35 odd years, but he had never seen anything like this.
I
was living here in 1984 until the start of the drought. But when things got worse and people started to die due to lack of food, we left for Alamata, where we received food aid. This is how we survived. Unfortunately, I lost my father during the famine.
Mohamed Amin was an African. His images really went into the depth and soul of the matter, of the subject that he was looking at. It was that dignity that I think moved so many people when they saw that picture. It definitely moved him. I think it's what moved the world. The famine in Somalia is a disaster of huge proportions. I don't think the world quite understands how big a disaster it is and will continue to be, because there is such limited access to journalists and aid workers in that country. Northwest Kenya is not as bad. There is a bad drought. There isn't serious famine there. Southeast Ethiopia, again, there is bad drought. It hasn't reached the proportions of famine. I think because the Kenyan and Ethiopian governments have learned a lot of lessons over the last 25 years in terms of how to provide at least some amount of food aid and relief to their own people. The Ethiopian people are one of the most amazing people on earth. Tigray province is a very good example of how drought doesn't have to equal famine. This is an area that has been prone to drought for decades, but the programs that have been put in place, the will and the hard work of the farmers and the people that live in these areas has transformed the way they do their traditional farming. It's transformed traditions and helped with the new irrigation schemes that have come into this region. Now they've been given an opportunity to actually take back some of that control and be able to build their own systems that work for them. Not something that's implemented, is done in cooperation with them, it's done in discussion with them. Very nice to meet you. Thank you for welcoming us to your house.
The safety net program is important because it is helping us to work in our area without being displaced from our homes. It is complementing the food gaps we have at the same time as we are being engaged in development.
Due to the availability of water for irrigation, we are producing vegetables and other crops throughout the year. The vegetables we are using for both our home consumption and for selling at the market. This is as a result of the irrigation system. I started growing teff many years ago. During the good season, the production from teff and the price of teff is good. It covers all my household expenses like clothing for my children, school fees, and also to buy sugar and coffee. I want to see my children go through their education up to the highest possible level. I am illiterate. I don't want my children to be the same. I also want to get maximum benefit from the different programs going on here.
And this is orange.
Oh, this is okay. All right. Small-scale agriculture is a very interesting solution for a large number of countries in Africa, not just Ethiopia. I think it's been an amazing transformation. I think the fact that people have been given the opportunity to improve and better their own lives. They've been given the opportunity to learn and experience new farming methods, to have irrigation systems that they never had access to, and to come and see it, how it's been transformed is truly a testament to the people that put these programs in place. It's a huge credit to the Ethiopian government as well that has allowed this kind of progress to take place.
The international support was very important in providing some assistance and money for the safety net program. We take from the emergency reserve and provide the food assistance to those who need it. The donors have contributed generously to establishing this strategic reserve of food aid in the country. They have also assisted us in providing resources for agricultural development.
This is a success story for Ethiopia and I think for the rest of Africa as well. There is no famine in this part of the country. And this I think would have made my father very, very happy. He would have loved to have come and seen a place where he saw tens of thousands of people dying. He would love to have come to have seen that people are making it on their own. And, I'd like to think that for him it was due to him that he managed to tell their story and he made a difference. I want to be part of telling the story of a new Africa, of an Africa that is rising, an Africa that is a part of the 21st century, an Africa that is a huge, important part of the global village, an Africa that can contribute to the rest of the world as opposed to just taking away from it. When I look around Tigray province, I see living proof that a future free of famine is possible. I'm so proud of my father's work that it inspired people to act, but it just can't stop here. There are people dying of famine right now, which is completely unacceptable. We have the tools and we know what it takes to prevent this from happening.